Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
Good morning and welcome to Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Open Conversation is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and engender positive impact to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we'll look at these trending stories. First, APP. Party celebrates winning Rivers local government polls, eyes more states. On Edo local government crisis. Assembly urges court to affirm suspension of 18 chairmen. On PDP, Governors Forum deepening crisis, Chinyerigwe says. And on 2027, APC North Central rejects coalition with Northeast Northwest. On politics, Ohaneze condemns Amechi's remarks on Tinubu. Still on 2027, Presidency slams El Rufai Amechi for heating up polity. We are open for advert placements, bookings and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
And will place economic stability and confidence. The consensus are proper critical needs of this minister and the government. As always said, there are two sides of people, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I thought that putting us in lead of this minister and the
I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I am.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is a regular on Open Conversation and a political analyst. His name is George Azonda Chinda. Good morning, George, and welcome.
Good morning, Lorenzo.
It's good to see you.
And you too.
And also joining me on Open Conversation is also a regular on Open Conversation, particularly on Sundays. He's joining us today and he's also a political analyst, Ugochukwu Ifeanyichukwu. Good morning, Ugochukwu, and welcome.
Oh, good morning, Laurentia. Good morning, Rivers people. And also,
Just a quick one. The government today is the World Cancer Day. You know, cancer has become an enemy of the human person, and the activities of some of our multinationals and the inaptitude of the government in paying lip service to environmental degradation is really alarming. The Nigerian state is paying lip service to renewable energy and green energy diversification. So let us call to mind that today reminds us of the hazards of environmental pollution. So I call on the government through this medium to hearken to the sufferings of those who are going through this sickness, and also provide succor and soft landing for their medications.
All right, very well. And on to the story for today. Action People's Party, currently controlling 22 out of the 23 local government areas in Rivers State, has vowed to take over more states in the 2027 general elections. This was as the party ratified Big Elephant as the official logo of the party during its national convention. The ratification took place at a well-attended national convention of the party in Abuja yesterday. The event was monitored by a team from the Independent National Electoral Commission. The party's national chairman, Barrister Uche Nnadi, announced the ratification of the new logo to the party stakeholders at the end of the meeting. He explained that the decision was based on popular demand. He said the new logo, Elephant, represents the strength of the party and its readiness to wrestle power from more states in the 2027 general elections. He added that the party was fast repositioning itself ahead of the next general elections. Achievement, but a testament to the faith and trust the people have placed in our party. This success underscores our values of integrity, hard work and service to the people. We extend our special appreciation to the people of Rivers State for standing resolutely with us and ensuring that their votes counted in a peaceful, free and fair election. Despite efforts by certain forces to hinder the will of the people of Rivers State, by the grace of God, stood firm and made history. Let me start with you, Ugochukwu. What do you make of the story?
This is very laughable.
Why do you say that?
To read such a communique from the APP. I think let me remind the Nnadi and the APP faithfuls of what a political party structure is. We have had only a few political parties win governorship elections in Nigeria. Or a few political parties that have made their mark. You recall from the inception, 1999, you had the APP that metamorphosed into AMPP. They won a majority of the northern states. You also have the Labour Party that had produced Adams Oshomole and the former Ekiti State governor in the person of, what's his name, the governor that. Then you have ABGA, you have CPC, as resounding and viable as CPC was in the north, given the nomenclature of Buhari, you know, and the election cycle which he participated. He left AMPP and formed the CPC. So that CPC had a seemingly national spread, because I could remember when the late Mike Ahamba, who was his solicitor or his law officer, you know, brought him to Imo State to have a flag off of his electioneering campaign. Then, upon all the love that the Northerners had for Buhari, he could only win Nasarawa State through the former governor of Nasarawa State. I think his name will come. The former governor was the only, he didn't even produce a governorship seat in the northwest where he came from. It's in the north central, which is Amakura. The then governor of Nasarawa State, Amakura, was the person that won election through CPC. So for when you come to Abga, Abga has been domiciled in Anambra State. So I don't know from where APP is coming. That's why I'm trying to paint the picture that I've just painted. So that when you are talking about you are having a party, and even before the kangaroo election that I call an event that happened in Rivers State, even till today I call it an event, because any event that you have already mapped out a date will happen. So what happened in Rivers State in the name of a local government election was an event. So when that event happened, you know, the party they are ratifying its logo now, was it the same logo that was presented prior to that particular event that took place in Rivers State? So when you're talking about ratification and the big elephant, I now ask, is there any baby elephant that will not grow to be a big elephant? So I don't know what is big in an elephant that is not embedded in any elephant at all. All right. That you say the big elephant. So when you talk about winning election, you are now asking yourself, who is the leader of this particular party in Rivers State? Because the governor of Rivers State is playing double standard. Because all his lieutenants, you cannot tell me you are a general. You have your own military camp, and the boys that are going in the war front are coming from a different military battalion and camps. So the governor of Rivers State, are they mentioning that he's the leader of the party? As you have it in Labour Party today, in Labour Party that Peter Obi might be seen as the national leader, but LSOT assumes the leadership of the party because he is the highest office, political office ranking holder in Labour Party. And that is the truth. So who is even fronting this APP? Can the governor of Rivers State, in the person of Senator Fubara, come out with his full chest and say that I'm the leader of MPP? So APP. From which angle are they hinting their national spread and having won an election that is being contested by some political parties in Rivers State? As far as I know, APP stands no chance of being a political party if you're describing it in what we know political parties to be in Nigeria. And where has this Nadi been? All right. Prior to all these elections, where has they been? All right. Where have APP gotten any seat for them to begin to pride themselves as they have? So as far as I know, the Rivers State governor has said that he's a member of PDP, and for you to have this kind of wherewithal to stand the elections in Nigeria, you must have a face that is the political leader of a political party to make an inroad. All right, very well. George, what do you make of this statement by the APP national chairman?
Thank you very much. If I got you correctly, you are trying to talk about the bragging of one Nadi, who is the national party chairman of APP, saying that the party, you know, is so strong enough to win, to restore power from the bigger parties who have been ruling. It's quite laughable, I must say. Like my brother asked here, where have been all these, you know, people, voting Nadia and the rest of them who are today priding themselves as being, you know, a bigger party or a party that is big enough to restore power from, you know, the established party. Well, these things are permissible within the politics we play in Nigeria. You know, it's unfortunate that he's taking advantage of what transpired in Rivers State, where there was no election. You know, there wasn't any election. It was a process I call a selection process, you know, that gave them opportunity, you know, to be in power. You know, out of the 23 local governments, according to them, they control 22, and out of 319 councillorship positions, they are controlling 314 or thereabout. Yes. Unfortunately, he thinks that is Nigeria. That with this, they now have enough political muscle, you know, to take over power from, you know, the established party. It's unfortunate, but like I said, it's permissible. Everybody is allowed to blow their trumpets. That is exactly what the man has done. So I will give it to him. Let him enjoy, you know, whatever that is coming out of you know, from these elected officials in Rivers State for now, because this whole thing will not take time for it to dissipate. You know,
what do you mean by that statement?
It's just a matter of time. Obviously, they do not have what it takes to win even the next, you know,
House of Assembly.
They don't. APP do not have what it takes to win, you know, any governorship seats in Nigeria. They don't. There's no spread. People don't even know about the party. We all knew what transpired. If not for the issues that led to, you know, the movement of some persons who are working with Governor Fubara to shift, looking for an alternative, because party is a vehicle through which you can
contest an election,
access power. So what they did was the APP was just available, and the APP, you know, accepted them. Not that APP have what it takes, you know. And this is just what is even lovely. If the man has said, okay, we could not to use APP to ensure that we win the local government in Rivers State, one can say, okay, let's see how it goes. But not that you can use APP to win governorship seats in Nigeria. In most states, you don't see their presence. They don't even exist. They don't exist in most states. This is a party that just has, you know, a one-room office. One room office. You know, no, their membership strength is not even something to talk about. So, but you know, like I said, these things are permissible within the Nigerian political context, so people can brag with anything. I give it to him. Let him enjoy the luggage while it lasts.
All right, very well.
And before you flip, Laurentia, you know, since they came to participate in an event, and they were able to eat their rice, you know, because in an event there must be, you know, item 7 will be served. Now they have gotten their item 7. So what have we been hearing about the purported or the so-called APP chairman in Rivers State, in the person of Nwokekoro? You know, before that event, he was parading everywhere and making all kinds of political noise. But since after then, knowing that now the governor or PDP is in power in Rivers State, what opposition is he playing? I was listening to Chief Tony Okocha yesterday, playing the viable opposition, you know, putting the government of Rivers State on their toes, asking that the governor should account for the monies that have been accrued since the last 2 years or a year plus. So this person now, does it mean that he's lying on the same bed with PDP, which is a ruling party?
All right.
So these are the questions that a party that should want to pride itself, because as far as we know, they are an opposition party. Because the main political party on seat is PDP, according to the claims of the governor of Rivers State, Simlaye Fubara. So if they are now in opposition, what has he said? What has come from the quarters of APP to, you know, tackle what the federal government, the policies of the federal government, that you're not sitting down with the Nigerian state or with the Nigerian citizens, and what are they saying about what the governor of Rivers State is doing that is not in line with the party manifesto of APP? Because they cannot have the same manifesto. I can't take that.
All right, very well.
So, and now you hear about the degradation and some of the documents that have been signed concerning the Ogoni University and what the people are suffering. What has he come out to say the position of the APP, so that we know what the manifesto and whatever the APP stands for? So if I'm not seeing those things, they are just making themselves politically relevant. That is taking them to nowhere.
All right, very well. And then on to Edo State. Edo State House of Assembly has urged the State High Court to affirm the suspension of the chairman of the 18 local government areas of the state. In a suit marked B/34/2025 and filed on January 28, 2025, the House seeks a declaration that by the virtue of the provisions of Section 20B of the Local Government Law 2000, Edo State, the first claimant, Edo State House of Assembly, has the power to suspend a chairman and or vice chairman of a local government council in Edo State. The House had on December 17, 2024, suspended all the local government chairmen and their deputies for what he described as insubordination to Governor Monday Okpebholo. The legislative action followed a petition to the House by Okpebholo, who complained that the local government chairman shunned his directive that they should provide their council statements of accounts. The embattled local government chairman and the opposition People's Democratic Party, however, faulted the suspension of the local government chairman, contending that the governor lacks the power to demand local government account statements in view of the local government autonomy recently declared by the Supreme Court. All the chairmen and their deputies have since been impeached, which the chairmen and their deputies are also challenging in court. But in the suit filed through its lawyer, C.O. Edosa of C.O. Edosa and Co., the Assembly wants the court to determine whether the decision to suspend the chairman and their deputies violated Section 20B by undermining the democratic structure of the local government councils in the state. Another issue raised is whether under Sections 11, subsection 3 and 14 of the law, the legislative arms of the councils were properly constituted by democratically elected members. Additionally, the claimants seek to clarify whether, in the absence of a chairman and vice chairman, the legislative arm of the councils have the authority to manage and control the affairs and funds of the local government councils. The claimants request declarations affirming that the Assembly's actions have not dismantled the democratic structure of the councils and that local government administration remains intact. They also seek a declaration confirming that under Section 20B of the Local Government Law 2000, the Assembly has the legal authority to suspend the local government chairman and vice chairman. Furthermore, the claimants argue that based on Section 11, subsection 3 and 14 of the law, the leaders of the legislative arms of the local government councils are duly elected officials. The defendants have been instructed to enter an appearance either personally or through legal representation within 42 days of being served. George, what do you make of these developments in Edo State local government saga?
Well, I'm particularly interested in how this will pan out at the end of the day, because from what I understand, the laws of Edo State government is inconsistent with the Constitution, given the recent pronouncement or judicial pronouncement of the Supreme Court that gave autonomy to the local government. And I think that is the reason why the local government chairman, according to the report, is not giving the governor, the reason, to align with him. Because from what we got here is that there is insubordination from the local government chairman to the governor.
Because of their refusal to submit statement of accounts.
Meeting or something, ask him for statement of account, and this man refused. So he sees it as insubordination. The House of Assembly now waded in to suspend them. From what we heard, they have been impeached. So the reason why that could happen is because of the judicial pronouncement of the Supreme Court that gave autonomy to the local government administration, where the chairman or those who are running the affairs of the local government feel that they are now autonomous, they do not owe the state government anything. So I am interested on how the judiciary, the court, will deliver judgment on this particular matter. Because I quite understand that the judicial pronouncement for me is a law, but there should have been some kind of amendment in the Constitution giving them that full autonomy or giving them the powers. Until that is done, I do not know how the court want to rule the matter. Because it is also there that the State House of Assembly is, hinging their powers that they already before the judicial pronouncement that gave autonomy to the local government administration, it was the State Assembly that makes laws for the administration of local governments in their respective states. So it was based on that, based on the Constitution they quoted, that they are suspending and going further to impeach the chairman. But unfortunately, it is coming inconsistent. It's no longer inconsistent with the Constitution, the ground norm. which the Supreme Court has interpreted. So from how the judge will rule on this matter, I am particularly interested. Right now, I will not preempt the court to say it will go this way or that way, but it will be an interesting legal firework.
Interesting, and even more interesting. You know, when you started speaking, the first statement you made, you said that the issue here for you is that this local government law that 20B that Edo State House of Assembly is hinging their argument upon is inconsistent with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And the last time I checked, you know, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is the ultimate. Like every other constitution is subjected on that constitution. Now, let's look at the makeup and the structure of these 3 tiers of government. Just like, you know, to a large extent, I would ask, can National Assembly suspend the sitting governor? The answer is no. They are not constitutionally empowered to suspend an elected governor. Right. Now, in the same vein, these local government chairmen were elected and not appointed. They were elected on the mandates of the people. So I'm trying to, you know, make sense of it. How the state houses of assembly can suspend an elected council chairman. Now, they make the laws that, I mean, constitutionally they are empowered to make the laws. But it becomes an issue when they make the laws that arrogate powers that by the structure of Nigerian constitution, they are not even empowered to do that. But then the question would be, did anybody challenge this law when it was made? Did anybody push for the law to be vacated? Judge, you want to say something?
Actually, what I understood about this whole thing is that at the issue, the constitution was made in a way that the state governments have some kind of a bearing control over the local government. And it was on that basis that even the constitution recognizes the state houses of assembly to make laws for the administration of the local government. Before now, if it was prior to this judicial pronouncement by Supreme Court, we would not be here. This matter would have been a foregone matter because the local government, the state assembly have the rights constitutionally to make laws for the administration of local government. But why you see, like I said, why I think that it will be an interesting legal firework is that just recently the Supreme Court has come to give a judicial pronouncement, which on its own, for me, I think is also an amendment to the Constitution. It's not as if maybe the House of Assembly, the National Assembly rather, the bicameral legislature will operate, to say, okay, we're amending section this and that. But judicial pronouncement, from my understanding, is a law. So it is on that note that the chairman have decided to say we are no longer under the apron strings of the state government. Therefore, we will not obey. That is where I want to see how the judges will handle this matter. Like I said, if it was prior to this day, this matter would have been concluded because the state assembly is empowered by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to make laws. It was on that basis that you see that they have started to say, based on section this of the district law, we have the powers, and they are even going further to seek, the mandate of the court to grant them the powers to oversee and run the administration of, including the finance, now that they have impeached or they have suspended the council chairman. So this is how it has been all this while.
Right.
But unfortunately, like I said, I will look at how the judges will handle it. It's a very serious matter. Let the judges handle the matter. Let me see what their outcome will be.
All right. Okay. If I will come to you, but then it's very important that I use River State, to cite an example. You recall when Martin Samihule led River State House of Assembly made a law, extending the tenure of the local government chairman, and some people, took that matter to court, asking the court, and there were other laws that were made. You recall that a River State High Court, said that law is invalid. Those laws were invalid, and also went further to say that River State House of Assembly was arrogating executive powers onto themselves and set that law aside. However, interestingly, when Supreme Court was now giving its judgment, it reaffirmed the earlier law made by Martin Samihule led House of Assembly that the State House of Assembly has the right to extend the tenure of local government chairman not longer by 6 months. Now, the point I'm trying to make is this. Now, there are laws that are made, that a law was made by a State House of Assembly, and when you look at that law, it does not align with what is obtainable in, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Why can't that law be vacated? That's one question, because I'm still asking that question. Can a State House of Assembly suspend an elected local government chairman? One would now say, what is the job of the councillors who suddenly have woken up? I mean, this is the first time we are seeing impeachment here and there of local government chairmen by councillors, right? Now, but it is what it is. Secondly, can the governor demand for statement of account, or is the local government chairman in this instance accountable to their own legislative arm, which is the councillors? Go ahead, define.
Everything I'm seeing here is inconsistency of our laws. Anywhere you find yourself, you try to arrogate that particular power to yourself. I think I'm praying that I will be able to, make an informed opinion on this. But first and foremost, I want to say that this is the first time I'm even getting to know that the governors will demand accountability from local governments. When did that one start? Is it not the governors that we are giving them some porridge of yam? They were the people having the pot in Nigeria. Is it just within few months that the Supreme Court made a pronouncement through a case instituted by the federal government for the executive arm of the government to allow for financial autonomy? That's the only thing that has been removed from them, and that is the cash cow of the governors. Why you see people fighting to become governors is not only the monies that are credible to them, it's because they were able to dip their hands in the local government pot, forgetting that nobody, even you journalists, nobody is talking about the security vote again. Everybody is talking about the excess money accruable from the removal of fuel subsidy, and at least in River State here, you, Lawrence, I give it to you that you always question what the governor of River State is doing, and other Niger Delta state governors are doing, or NDDC states are doing with their 13% oil derivations. I give it to you and the ATN, but nobody is talking about the security votes again. That is not being accounted. So these are the conduit pipes from which we have financial overflows that nobody is accounting for. Then I now ask another question. When has it become the Edo State governor is barely 2 months, and now the PDP lawmakers, let's not forget that we have not heard that they have defected, but in spirit they have defected. But in physical, they are PDP members. But for their body languages and what is coming out from them and their dispositions, you find out that they are now in the same bed with APC. And you take nothing away from them that even prior to the House of Assembly that has a majority of PDP members, and the sitting speaker, a PDP member, will now begin to align with a governor to chastise their own party members. This is an affront. I never did see this kind of politics play out in any part of the world. But this is where we are in Nigeria. So that is now leading me into saying that what is the nature of the offenses that those people have committed in 2 months that have led the governor to demand for their... Is it not the same way elections are conducted in Nigeria that is causing this problem, especially how governors conduct local government elections? The sitting governor and the ruling party takes it all. Assuming you go to Edo State now and half of those people are from APC, half of them are from PDP, and maybe Labour Party got some fractions, you won't see this thing happen. But the governor wants to make sure that he bends those local government chairmen to do his bidding. Because just like George said, you find out that with the pronouncement of the Supreme Court that have become a grand norm in Nigeria today, the governor cannot dip his hands in the local government coffers. That is where I see all those things coming from. Because if they are APC local government chairman, will you tell me that the governor will be demanding for my accountability? Because he will now write a letter to them, tell them the quota they will be giving to the government that we saw in Anambra State. We saw that play out in River State here, that you find out that the governors will now be telling them, Soludo made a kangaroo law, even before, immediately after that Supreme Court judgment. Tying some projects that the local government and the state government will be doing together, just to make sure that they have a bite of that financial autonomy. It's very unfortunate. That is the only thing that I'm seeing that is playing out here, that those local government chairmen, being PDP members, that Oebolo have no 100% control over them, or over the monies that are being turned out to them, that are no longer necessarily coming through the jack they normally share with the government. That is the meat of the matter. So when you now see the inconsistency of now impeaching a local a local government chairman and their deputies by councillors that are also PDP members, those councillors that won election are not the APC. You mean this is a master stroke from APC? You know, for them to turn these people against their own family members. It is laughable. So this particular thing that is happening, forget about the House of Assembly has the constitutional backing to now supervise over local governments through the laws that are brought to them by the executive. They're in the same bed. But finally on this, you cannot tell me that the House of Assembly that has the statutory right to supervise, the Constitution gave them, they asked a question, the Constitution gave them the statutory right to supervise, because they are the ones making the laws that is governing the local governments. So they also have the right to checkmate what is happening, but they have no constitutional backing whatsoever to suspend, because those local government chairmen were elected by an election conducted by the state sec, Edo State sec. The mandate given by the people of Edo State in their localities. So that power to suspend or to remove is given up on them. The only thing they could do for free, let me advise them, is to set up a committee that will now liaise and look at the infractions of what they are doing in their local government, because they also are the people that made that law. Right. But the powers to remove or suspend, they lack it.
All right.
So, and they have failed in their duty to have constituted a committee through the committee of the State House Assembly that oversees the local governments and call them to question. They have missed it, and today we, like George said, we are waiting to see how the judiciary interprets this at the end of the day.
All right. George, what do you have to say before we move over?
I would say that it's unfortunate what is happening in the district, but on the other hand, it is something that will strengthen our jurisprudence. You know, the outcome of the legal firework will actually strengthen the jurisprudence. Other states will take a cue from that. Other states will take a cue from that. Coming to the governor, it's unfortunate, I must say, that barely 2 months into his administration, is trying to take control. Like my brother said here, if it is not for the pits, the money, you won't see all this playing out. Because they have been used to dipping hands into the funds of the local government to run whatever they are running. So it's biting them heavily. For them, it's like if you put the local government together, money that they are having is even much more heavier than what the state government is controlling.
Of course.
So that to them is it could be anarchy. If the local government team up together, they can even fight the state government with the kind of money they have.
Yes.
So they don't want to see that happening. So let the judiciary do the needful. What I am interested in here is to find out if the judicial pronouncement made by the Supreme Court can actually serve as an amendment to the Constitution, because the Constitution empowers the State Houses of Assembly to oversee the administration of local government.
Yes.
And if in those states the Assembly have come to say, we are suspended, we are doing this, we are doing that, and these people are saying that you do not have such powers, let's go to court. So I want to see how the judge, the court, will rule on this matter if the judicial pronouncement is actually covers the amendment. So that's where I'm, particularly.
Lorisha, you said something about, there's a question asking me about River State. Just in a nutshell, the River State, whether the High Court in River State has set aside or nullified that particular laws that Martin Samehule led River State House Assembly made or not, what is going to play out in the Supreme Court. We now revalidate.
No, that wasn't what I said. No, I cited it as an example.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
What transpired when the court, in River State, invalidated the law made by Martin Samehule led House of Assembly, elongating the tenure of local government chairmen. And I said, in the Supreme Court judgment of July 2024,
yes,
that Supreme Court, after the action of that court, Supreme Court had gone ahead to also make a judgment on that. Supreme Court said that state houses of assembly have the power to elongate the tenure of local government chairmen. I was just using it to cite an example, like, can laws be made by state houses of assembly, and when it is found inconsistent and challenged in court, can it be set aside? That's the question I was asking.
Yes,
right?
it can be set aside if it's inconsistent with the constitution. But but in the case of the laws made by Martin Samehule, it was consistent with the provisions of the constitution.
All right, very well.
So it was and what will resonate it? Let's say that it is still in the cooler because Martin Samehule and they have not challenged it to make sure that the Supreme Court or the Appeal Court now looks at the pronouncement of the Supreme Court, validating the law they have made. But at the end of the day, when this whole process of the validity and non-validity of his speakership and membership is being concluded, it will now resonate. That is what I'm trying to say. It will now authenticate that particular law they have made. No particular court of competent jurisdiction will now have the power to set it aside because it has already been affirmed by the Supreme Court.
All right, very well. Former member of the House of Representatives, Dr. Chinyere Igwe, has accused governors elected on the platform of the People's Democratic Party of being responsible for the deepening leadership crisis within the party. Igwe, who represented Port Harcourt Federal Constituency 2, criticized the governors for mishandling the party's internal affairs, claiming they were acting as though they were above the law. Speaking on the ongoing turmoil within the main opposition party, Igwe stated in an interview with press that the governor's actions were dividing the party rather than resolving the crisis. He particularly pointed out that the court had ordered a stay of execution on the matter involving Udo Okoye and Anyawun, stating, "We cannot go against what the court says because we are not a lawless people." The court granted a stay of execution, so the governors are not the court because the court has a position. We are all waiting for the position of the court. Udo Okoye too depends on the court. Igwe further stressed that the governors were causing the party's internal issues because they did not respect the rule of law, adding, they feel they are above the law, but they are not. Regarding the alleged plot to limit Wike's influence within the party, Igwe, a loyalist of the FCT minister, asserted that Wike remained a significant figure in PDP. He dismissed concerns about a supposed plot against Wike, asking, forget about whether there is a grand plot against Wike or not. Can they succeed? So the position of the court is what is standing. The governors should respect the law. Igwe reminded that the current governors were all elected by the law and their positions affirmed by the Supreme Court. He questioned their behavior, asking, why are they playing demigod? George, let me come to you first. Well, Chinyere Igwe has raised certain concerns, and he said, he's asking, why are PDP governors playing the demigod in the crisis in PDP? What do you have to say to that?
First and foremost, let me say I completely align with the position of Honorable Chinyere Igwe. And this issue affecting the PDP. Obviously, what you see playing out is a group of persons ganging up against one man called Nation Wike. That is the reason why you see the governors acting the way they're acting. like Igbe pointed out, that they are governors today, it was affirmed by the Supreme Court. That is the law. That Udo Okoye, who they are rooting for, is claiming to be the national secretary of the party. It's as a result of the law. IAM have gotten a stay of execution, which is also the law. The governors have no right to go to that meeting either in Bayelsa or Asaba, where they issue the communique, relegating what the position of the law is to say we are supporting Udo Okoye as the national secretary. They have seen themselves like demigods, which Igwe pointed out. So in this issue, crisis affecting the PDP, the governors are playing major roles in escalating the crisis, instead of playing roles that would de-escalate the crisis with a view to resolving the internal affairs, because 2027 is by the corner. They are the ones fanning the embers of war. All this is geared towards relegating Nyesom Wike, but unfortunately, it's not going to happen. I pity for the party PDP. I'm a member of the People's Democratic Party, but I feel so sad with what is going on. What this means is that the party will not be formidable enough to mount any opposition to the ruling government. And that is why you see the Tinubu and his handlers are just smiling. They are just happy. Because it's obvious that the PDP that is supposed to provide that pathway to the opposition is even crumbling. They are in shambles. People are leaving the party in droves. Just recently, Ned Nwoko has left the party. And there will be more persons that will leave the party to realign with the ruling party. It's not as if Tinubu is somewhere, sponsoring this crisis. It is with if leaders, the current crop of governors who are leaders of the party cannot see where the challenges lie and see how they can call themselves to order and resolve this matter amicably internally, so that the party, can be strong enough to mount a ferocious attack on APC in the 2027 election. They are the ones dividing themselves. All these things are geared towards relegating Nyesom Wike. But unfortunately, it's not going to work. Right. It's not going to work because, like Igwe said, we are not running a banana republic. We are a country of laws, and the laws must be obeyed. Everything, including the governors, have powers today because it was affirmed by the law. If the law was not there to give them that power, to call for election where people voted, and they were sworn in and all of that, they will not be sitting down in their high horses to give such orders. So they must learn to obey the laws. They should not on their own become laws. So going there to issue a communique to say we support Udo Okoye against this person, as against what the current position of the law is tantamount to crisis, further crisis in the party. So right. It's unfortunate. I feel pity for the party.
All right. Ifeanyi, what do you make of this statement?
Dr. Chinyere Igwe, PhD, a former House of Representatives member who represented the good people of his constituency in the National House of Assembly, has said it all, and he didn't mince words. I give it to him. He made a position, and his position is well taken, and is there at the public domain. I only want to say that if this communique will get to the governors, if it will get to those that think they can pull down the roof of the PDP, so that they will know that they are running inconsistency with their own laws. They're also running against the laws of the land, which empower them to assume the positions they find themselves today. So the position of Chinyere Igwe is one of the positions I've taken, because what has escalated the problem we are seeing in PDP is people are not saying the truth. And again, you don't stay in a house and you want to pull the roof down, and they don't make trouble. When I was in the major seminary, one of our bishop, Bishop Dan Lami Joseph Bagubri, if he comes to the conference with the seminarians, he will tell us that you don't make trouble with somebody who has nothing to lose. You won't gain anything by making some. Even if PDP did not win an election come 2027, any national election, does Wike have anything to lose? The answer is no. It's those governors who will be fighting for survival. Tomorrow they will be looking for a soft landing to realign and align with the APC, which we know that most of them are hibernating with APC. At least we are here last 2 Sundays when we discussed about the governor of Mufwan, the governor of Plateau State, that the APC North Central are calling him to come and defect to APC. You don't tell me that that thing is not ringing a bell in one corner of his brain. And we know the governors from Nasarawa State, all those states that we know that elections always swing between PDP and APC. When you see that this person has won this one, they are now looking for a way they will realign with the other party in order to gain the stronghold. So let them continue to deceive themselves. But Chinyenigwe has given them the roadmap and the template. What is the problem in PDP? Before they came as the governor, because all of them now are towing the line of Bala Mohammed, who was, you saw sometime last year, I came here and we are talking about the achievement of FCT Minister, and we stayed here and read all the people that have become the FCT ministers. I never knew that Bala Mohammed, if I didn't make that research, one time a minister of the FCT. What was his mark? If not only Air Rufai you can mention in FCT, the next name on the list of all Nigerians is Nyesom Wike, that will stand in, that will become a test, even if he lives there in the next 20 years. So when you talk about somebody who you want to pull down, those governors now forget that when Atiku Abubakar and his cohorts left, even the Tamboa left PDP to APC. It's on record. Atiku Abubakar left PDP when PDP was in crisis and hibernated with ACN. And now he has seen that Wike has stood and built PDP. After building PDP, when the PDP were left in comatose, Wike ran PDP with Rivers people and with his wherewithal, that even the allocations that we are accruing for the people of Rivers State, we are used in making PDP strong, what it is today. If all of them has left, would there be any party or any ship to write the name PDP today? So, what even this advice that Chinyenigwe is giving them is for free, but we know they are stuck in trade. But let the truth be told that the big elephant in the room of PDP is only a small thing. Laurentia, I keep telling us on this show that when the PDP understood that Atiku Abubakar played the first one on PDP, not only that, he went through the back and collected the form with Eliocha Ayo. And not only that, during the primaries, they now played the fan again after the whole presidential aspirants have made their statements to the delegates. Then there was a foul play that Tamboa had to come back. It is not done. Came back and now said that his votes should be given to Atiku Abubakar. Who will take that? So let them know that Nyesom Wike is not, the day they realize that Nyesom Wike is not their problem, that is the day PDP begins to heal. Right. And if the governors are taking side because of what is happening in this particular impasse between Udo Okoye and Anyanwu, let them know that it cannot work, because they are dragging Anyanwu down because Anyanwu is an ally of the seeing. I asked a question here. Those Southeasterners, stakeholders now that are pushing for Udo Okoye, where were they when after Udo Okoye was elected or confirmed to be the person that will take over from Anyanwu when Anyanwu was contesting? Why did they go silent and not push for Udo Okoye to have assumed that position when Anyanwu was contesting, and they allow all those things to lie? And at the end of the day, you are now, because of the FCT minister, his stance and his relationship with Anyanwu, the whole governors are now taking side. What has made the political crisis of PDP remain like this is because they have taken position. All right. That will not help them.
Okay, let's look at the exact statement that Chinyenigwe said that I find interesting. He said, we cannot go against what the law says because we are not a lawless people. And he further said that the court granted a stay of execution. So the governors are not the court, because the court, we are all waiting for the position of the court. Udokoye too depends on the court. He also said they feel they are above the law, but they are not. Now, the question here is, he now asked why they play in the mid-court. The question here, I want to ask from what he has said is the position of the court and the selective implementation of court orders and judgments by actors, political actors, as it were. Now, let's if we may borrow a leaf from the River State crisis. Court has given its judgment, orders and judgments, telling the governor, present the 2024 budget. Some persons say the governor cannot present the 2024 budget until the Supreme Court gives final judgment on that. Now, that cannot be done, right, until Supreme Court gives judgment. Now, some of the PDP governors as well are, existing because there was a stay of execution when they had their own court cases while they were governors, and they waited till Supreme Court gave judgment. Now, it appears that in Nigerian political system, court orders, the same persons that we hold stay of execution in one hand, on the other hand, we say it doesn't apply here. What actually applies? Now, when the FCT minister was the governor of Rivers State, you recall that there was also a judgment, right? And that judgment, that execution, that order was stayed until Supreme Court gave judgment affirming him as the Rivers State governor. Now, in the case of Udokoye and Sam Anyanwu has gotten a stay of execution that PDP can, restraining PDP from removing him pending when Supreme Court gives judgment. The question would be, why can't the PDP governors hold on, trusting that the Supreme Court judgment, will, to a large extent, bring peace and some level of sanity to
that
the
is
PDP
what I'm
crisis.
telling you, that you don't make trouble with somebody who has nothing to lose. All those things they are doing is because of Nyesom Wike. All those questions you have asked, they are seeing Anyanwu, like Chinyere has made his position known that he's a loyalist of the FCT minister. It won't be taken away from him. But those people are why you see all those crises and people now trying to use anywhere you mention a Nyesom Wike, now the press and Nigerians will begin to listen because they have brought him to the table for them to vilify him. But they cannot vilify him. Whom God has blessed, nobody can curse. And in this fact is because Anyanwu is seen as a personal friend and the loyalist in what Nyesom Wike stands for in his political ideology and philosophy. So any other question you're asking, any other thing you're trying to, the only why is because they do not like his face. They do not like the stronghold and how he has, he's the face of PDP, like it or yes. You understand? Nyesom Wike is the face of PDP because all of them left PDP and allowed PDP to die. But this man resurrected PDP and gave it life support. Gave it an oxygen to breathe. To what all of them are clamoring to as PDP. Where we are there? Look at somebody like Bala Mohammed. How much has he invested in PDP? Somebody like you were here last year and all of them were running around. At the end of the day, when they saw the clear signal and they saw the truth, all of them left Bala Mohammed. All of them left Bala Mohammed here and ran to Nyesom Wike because they have seen it. So what I'm saying is, no matter how we are painting it, Anyanwu is suffering vilification today because of his alliance with Nyesom Wike, and they cannot take it away from. But let the governors of PDP continue to deceive themselves and continue to divide their house instead of coming together to put together and reposition themselves for the fight ahead.
All right, very well. Judge.
What I have to say to this is that ordinarily I wouldn't have questioned the activities of the governors and those who are fighting the FCT minister. This is a game. But my concern here is that going outside the law, going outside the same law that gave you powers to become who you are, That is where
because you want to paint somebody black.
Because what I understand here is simple. You know, those governors are no longer happy with Nyesom Wike, who is working with the president, and they are now seeing him as someone who is destabilizing their party. But unfortunately for them, they are doing it the wrong way. So what you see playing out is just normal for them. I am particularly against the law. If Sam Anyanwu have obtained a stay of execution, there should be no reason why the governors will still go ahead to issue a communique recognizing Udokoyi. That is further crisis in the party. They should respect and wait for the Supreme Court. If the final arbiter gives their judgment on who is actually the national secretary of the party, everybody, every Tom, Dick and Harry, be you governor, be you ordinary person in the party, you abide by it. So for now, they should, you know, forget hitting up the party. Because like my brother said, you are fighting against somebody who does not have anything to lose. The man Wike will be ready to fight with them to finish. And at the end of the day, they will be the ones to lose. He has already secured a place for himself.
Oh, that is it.
He has already secured. He has become a governor of 2 terms. He's no longer going for a governorship position. He can easily switch to APC or any other party if he so wish. But they will find it difficult to do that and still retain their position. So for now, the fight is unnecessary. If I were to advise them, I will ask them to do the needful. Allow the court process to elapse. Right now, there is a stay of execution. Respect that stay of execution, and let's see what happens. But it's also unfortunate. I don't know why the judiciary, at some point, is it because some of these men do have immunity, and there are no way they can enforce some of their positions? Because if this thing is being done by the ordinary person in the streets, you know, the backlash will be so much. But there is a stay of execution. There is a stay. It's not as if it was forged or something. There is a stay of execution, and the governors are still, you know, causing more crisis by saying that they recognize. So it's unfortunate that it's happening. The only viable opposition that the country have politically is going down the drain on a daily basis. So if PDP cannot put their hands together, you know, to restore power from Tinubu, who else will do it? Obviously, what that means is that Tinubu, God willing, if he has health on his side, you know, has life and everything,
has a smooth ride. Right. And you were saying something, Dorisha, just in 30 seconds about this stay of execution. When it happens in River State, does the governor wait for the court to now give a written stay of execution before he takes his position in the matters concerning the House of Assembly? And now, why will the PDP NEC or those factional members of the PDP NEC and the NWC and the Governors Forum make themselves
NEC, NWC.
No, NWC and no, you also
have the, and BOT.
And BOT, but yes, you still have some fragment of people in the NEC too, in the NEC of PDP that are aligning with Governor Fubra, and we also aligning with Udokoye. So in the 3 arms that is holding PDP, they are fragmented. All of them are fragmented. That's why I'm mentioning 3 of them. So now they are now demanding that stay of execution was not given, but it is a primary knowledge that when there is a judgment and it's been appealed to a higher court, you stay execution. So why are they now making it as if
stay of execution can actually be denied? Appealing to a higher court. Appealing to a higher court does not necessarily translate to stay of execution. You can actually appeal and apply for stay of execution. Apply for stay of execution.
That is what I'm saying.
And it will still be denied.
Right? But it has been. This story is being discussed here on ATN. This is a story that I had wanted to lend my voice, and is an advice to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his handlers. Because the people that are ganging against him now, we are his inner caucus. We are the people who helped him in forming the APC. So they know the intricacies, they know the in and out. You know, denigrate them at your own peril. That's the advice I'm giving to Tinubu. Forget about the rhetorics of his spokesman. Tinubu will be losing sleep with the ganging up and putting heads together of an Erufai, Amechi, and all those people that I'm seeing coming out. That was how APC came and wrestled power from PDP. If there will be any formidable opposition or coming, have their selfish interests to protect. But if they come together, like Obi said, come together for what the discourse will be about how to improve the livelihood of Nigerians. Nigerians will buy in. If Nigerians can buy in Labour Party alone in 2023, and anybody that is waving this with a wave of the hand in the camp of Bola Tinubu or any APC member, like in the person of a former Minister of Information, in the person of Lai Mohammed, particular stick, you are going to chastise it. So Tinubu and his handlers should not take this with kiss gloves, because the people that are ganging against them know the intricacies and in and out of what transpired in the formulation of APC.
All right. George, what do you make of this story?
Well, for me, I see what is playing out today as a group of persons who lost out in the last election. You know, they are aggrieved, obviously, and because they are aggrieved, they just want to find a way, you know, to get to the president. So they are trying to form a coalition of aggrieved from Jonathan. So like my brother said here, I don't think he will treat it with keyboard. So do not bother yourself. Tinubu is working. Do not even ensure that they do anything to hurt